powered by the sun, but our house has as its mission the stewardship of the Chesapeake Bay.
Imaginative design and energy efficiency are two aspects of the decathlon, but the homes also have to function well. The most vexing challenge is keeping the homes at a constant temperature and humidity, as the heat on the mall can get quite high.
And we need to keep that between 72 and 76 degrees Fahrenheit. We need to be able to run hot showers at least 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, we use that hot water for things like heating the floors and raising the temperature of the house.
Students are able to monitor every house's temperature readings from the Department of Energy's sensors and online data feed.
I consider this a lot of fun. It's very rare that you get the chance to deal with a system that has so many inputs and outputs. I have 4 wireless sensors, 5 wired sensors, as well as the DOE's sensor. And in addition to everyone just yelling at me from all different directions that one room is too hot or whatever. And then in addition, I have so many buttons and knobs to push that it's a great amount of fun. Every single window, every single bit of the radiant floor is under my command.
The Texas house is using a low-tech method of controlling interior temperatures by using a movable scrim wall.
On the east side, they have a movable shading system so that you can still get ambient light through but no heat gain.
The Texas team's approach to comfort also includes a hot tub that uses no electricity.
The Dutch tub is an incredible thing. It's fun, it's functional, it's heated by either coals or wood in the coiling system. It pulls water out in convection up the spirals and out back into the tub, and within 2 or 3 hours you've got a hot tub ready to go.
In these small but complete homes, the wise use of space takes discipline and clear thinking.
The floor plan inside the University of Texas Austin structure is a very open floor plan, and that gives you several benefits. One is it allows you to create multi-function space. The other large benefit that you get from an open floor plan is the ability to use natural ventilation across that whole space.
Then you get airflow through there, so you cut back on the need for powered ventilation, fans or other kind of cooling methods.
While the Texas interior features an open floor plan, MIT has a few degrees of separation between their home's private and public spaces. Lawrence Tech had another idea when it came to space.
The unit behind me here, we call it Module 3, and it houses both of our bedrooms. There's another unit on the opposite side of the house that's separated by that core space, and that unit has our living room, kitchen, and bathroom. The reason we did that is we tried to locate all the plumbing and sort of the more public spaces off to one side of the house, and then some of the more private spaces off to the other side of the house.
One of the space-saving strategies that Lawrence Tech has used is they have a single bathroom that serves as a half bath for a toilet and a sink, as well as the whole room is a shower. So when you close your toilet lid and there's a shower head right above, the whole thing becomes your shower stall.
Lawrence also used a kind of courtyard in the middle of their home to expand the feeling of space.
One of the features that people notice in the home is that there's an exterior room, really, in the center of the home. We have a courtyard space that can be closed off, making it a private courtyard area from the rest of the deck. And basically, it kind of tricks people into thinking the home is a lot larger than it is.
The roofs are an additional aspect into which the students put quite a bit of thought and planning. And it's an area that can have real-world implications in the future.
I think in the future, homeowners are going to recognize that the roof is an asset. So instead of something that they worry about leaking, it'll be something that produces the energy for their house. What's more important to the architects who are designing new homes is to try to keep that south-facing roof or southeast or south-facing roof clean. So there's not too many shadowing obstructions on it or plumbing vents and so forth, so that you can put a good-sized solar array on that roof. So as time goes on and people become more aware of that, we'll see a little bit of change in the architecture there as people recognize that their south-facing roof is really an asset, and they want to keep that available to them to generate energy.
The kitchens are a place to shine. They're not only sleek and modern, but fully functional. Students even take time to host dinner parties for their neighbors, showing off the kitchen designs as well as their culinary skills.
Every house actually has to do a dinner party to simulate cooking and having the lights on and having a bunch of people in the house. And I was over at Cincinnati last night, and the night before that I was hanging out over at the Cornell house. So a lot of good food, chatting about solar technology.
Designing and building a fully functioning solar home that can be transported, constructed, and then taken apart again to return back home is a unique undertaking. The Decathlon houses cost as much as $500,000 or more, using money raised from the public and private sectors. One question this experiment raises is whether or not these test solar homes can be made viable for the real world. Market viability is assessed by professional builders.
I can remember I walked into one house, my first reaction mentally was, oh, I could live in this house.
You know, they are not your traditional looking homes, but it doesn't really have to be that way. You can create a Cape Cod home that's a green building, or any other type of home that you want, and it can be a solar-oriented building that works off solar energy. It may not maximize the solar effect as to the level that these homes out here do, but still you can get a very solar home and make it look any way you want.
Innovative and creative architecture and design is certainly not limited to the U.S. The Decathlon demonstrates that forward thinking is going on around the world. The University of Madrid's house features a glass-enclosed floating corner, a living wall, and a warm wood-paneled exterior. And the German team from the University of Darmstadt construct a fresh, contemporary house that features clean, simple lines and PV systems that are seamlessly worked into the structure. One key aspect of this experiment is getting the word out. Each school is communicating their vision to the public. Each team creates a website and is fully prepared to talk to the more than 120,000 people lining up to get a look inside the houses.
At first it's kind of entertaining to answer the questions over and over again, then it gets a little tiring, but it's awesome to see that the public is so into learning about solar technology and all this stuff. It's really amazing to me how much people are into it.
The tour guide aspect of all this was great, being able to kind of inform the general public about the different things that are out there and that can be used on houses right away. It's really gratifying.
And so, after an exhausting and exhilarating week, this grand solar experiment comes to an end. But it's not an end for these houses, as most of them continue on to a new life.
The Bloom House ultimately is going to end up back in Austin, so graduate students or other students who maybe can't afford housing at the time can live in them, take care of them, be responsible for monitoring how well the homes function, so we can get several decades of good data if we're lucky.
The future for the house, it's actually going to be going back with us to Michigan, to a city called Troy, Michigan. They've purchased the home from us, and they're going to use it in their Welcome Center area as a learning laboratory, and then for the next 2 years, we're allowed to come into the house and monitor the systems and actually feed that information back to the Department of Energy.
The house is going to go back on campus, and it's going to be a home for an office and a professional trade organization.
Once there, it will become the new home of a local chapter of the American Institute of Architects. Many of the Decathlon houses will survive, but what will the participants take away with them?
The biggest thing I learned from this project was about communication. Communicating with each other, both within the industry and in the school, architects and engineers, but also communication to the public, and get the public and the government to know about solar technology and green technology so that they can really appreciate it and it can be integrated into our everyday lives.
It's about future leaders learning to do things differently than others before them have done them, but it's also about current leaders doing things differently. Everybody learns from this project, and the way we structured our team, everybody had an opportunity to learn from each other.
The most important thing here is what we're all learning, because we can take this and make everybody else know about it. That's why we're on the mall.
Form, function, innovation, communication. the Solar Decathlon challenges architects to be the best in new ways in a new era.